Hey everybody, going to do a quick video this go round about how to record and create macros. Macros are essential in the estimating process because they are quick, custom built sets of line items that you've created based on guidelines, or maybe you've created based on, personal preference or the type of loss that you're in. But macros can save you countless hours in estimates if they're set up correctly. So the first thing you have to do is understand what you want your macros to look like or how you want them to be set up. We like to do piecemeal macros, or you like to consider them segmented. So you want to build your roof covering separate, your underlayment separate, your flashings, or so on and so forth, right? So once you get the basic layout of how you want to build the macros, you can save anything to a macro. So I like to break everything out in sections of the roof. I'm just going to show you a quick example here. We're going to go with roof covering and add the line item note for roof covering. We're going to add vents and flashings, and we're going to save that in line item break. Okay, we're going to add, let's see, drip edge and valley metal. You can name them whatever you want, but once you create these line item breaks, I'm going to show you two purposes for this and two applications. The line item breaks themselves can be used in any setup, and then you can add the items in between them, or you can create the macros with the line item breaks in them, right? So you can highlight all the items, click one, shift click all the way to the bottom, go down to other options, and save as a macro. Now, when you save this, you can name it line item breaks, and then you can, set the description as what it is. And you'll see I have some already created. You can look for line item breaks as a macro. So what this does is if you want to have the same captions every time, or maybe you have, you don't have a macro made for the roof that you need to write, but you want to use your same sections, you just throw in the line item breaks macro, and then you can add your items separate. The other way of doing this is creating this with the line item breaks in there, adding everything in, and then organizing, right? So I'm just going to build a quick roof really quick. And I got some default settings in here that I'm going to change. We're just doing, like I said, this is a very quick purpose. So I'm going to turn off this auto calculate waste because I don't need that. And we're going to build just a standard 25-year roof that may be allowed per guidelines, may not be allowed per guidelines, right? So that's why these have to be customized, because you don't want to just use the same macro and you can either delete items out or you can add into it, right? You build a baseline and then you modify off of that. And I know this looks like, you're just throwing stuff in here, but it takes time to organize. It takes time to get lined out, get all the breaks in there, get everything set up. It also takes time for me to learn how to spell. So I'm just going to add in some different roof vents, add in, some different components that I know I'm seeing. I'm in the coastal region. So in the coast, we're going to have a lot of shingle over ridge vent. We're going to have a lot of box vents and turbines. And we may even have some power attic roof vent covers. Now, ventilation is code in areas, right? So you can even build a macro specific to nothing but vents, take out or add what you need. Once you get the macro, your line item, your scope set up, this is a first time creation, just start organizing it. So we got drip edge and valley metal. We're going to move this here. We've got, let's see, the line item breaks of vents and flashings. So we're going to throw all of the vents and flashings under this section. And again, you're just reorganizing, right? Roofing accessories, we're going to throw the satellite dish down here. We're going to move our shingles up, move our pipe jack down, and you build it in the order of operations that you want. So tear off the shingles, put on the felt, put on the starter, throw on the shingles and the ridge. And again, it's a full roof replacement, so ridge can be replaced only. This is standard, very standard as to where this goes. Set your starter row to perimeter. And it doesn't matter if you do this on a real sketch or on a fake sketch like I have in this ESX. The variables will still apply if you drop this macro in on an Eagle View sketch or anything like that, right? The variables are still the same. You want to do it, say, just as a default for gable, go ahead and set your waste, have everything set up, and there you go. There's a roof. So highlight all the items again, click the first one, shift click the bottom, right click, other options, save macro. Now I like to recommend saving these based on carrier specific, right? So say you run a carrier that has the abbreviation GAIG or GA whatever, you can save your carrier name and you say 25 year. And then you just say 25 year roof and you just name the carrier, right? Say Great American. Click OK. Now, here's a checkbox here. I'm going to pause here. Line item customizations and attach notes. If you put notes on the line item breaks for like F9 notes or something on the item, you can include the attached notes. If you click this checkbox for save line item customizations, that is going to save those items in that price list that you have selected. You do not want this checked. The reason is if you go to the next month price list or you use it in a different state or a different city, it is going to use the price from the first database and it is going to override your price every time and throw flags all the way through an entire estimate. Do not check that box. Click OK. Now you can go look at your macros, see that they have up, and there you go. You have a GAIG 25 year we just made. Looks like I already had some saved. So you dump it in. That's your whole macro. The variable saved, everything filled in. And you can do these for anything, right? I have macros for different carriers, for moldings, for windows, for masking. I've created macros that operate in different sections. And I'm just going to show you some examples. The interior is the same way. Now, we can also create macros for you based on carrier-specific guidelines if you need to. But say you're doing ceiling and wall, right? So you're looking for ceiling and wall. So you look at my word ceiling. I see all the macros that I have saved. I know what this macro is. So I'm going to look for wall. I look at all my wall macros. This is the one I want to use. This comes up for duplicate items. I'm going to click allow because I do not like my paint items being combined. And then I'm going to look for masking and I'm going to read the masking and there it is. This macro has everything that I need in here. If I had texture on the ceiling, it's already got the pre-filled variables. If I had textures on the wall and I want to scrape the wall corner to corner, this is a pre-filled number, but you change this based on the square footage of the wall, but the number is set to the -32 because you're not tearing out texture that is already taken out when the drywall is removed, right? This follows the scope of the guidelines that I have set forth for the carrier that I wrote for, and that's a whole interior room with a water stain on a ceiling, water stain on a wall. That's basic stuff, right? If there's trim, or if there's moldings as to what happens, you just have to find your macro. There's a detach and reset crown. And there you go, right? Slide this up next to the ceiling. You want to detach and reset a 12-foot section. And now you paint your crown. So your macros are built out in segment and pieces. That way you're not dropping in 500 line items and trying to filter through them. You build them out in sections. You piecemeal it together and you have everything in here, right? I'm going to show you something just in case I have an old macro. I'm just going to reprice to see if anything was saved from an old database. And the difference is 0. That means those line items, that macro is 5 years old, but it follows the pricing database because I did not click, when I saved them, I did not click that checkbox, right? Overall, creating macros is very simple. It is a very useful tool. And remember to ask if you need macros created for specific carriers, you want some macros, just some samples from us. You want something for fire, something for water, whatever the case may be. We have access to a ton of them. We can build them for you. If there's any questions, anything you need, any feedback, please feel free to send us a message in the Discord. We'll be glad to assist you. Thank you for watching.